Make sure it's big and thick, so certain things are out of the equation. So we're getting towards the tail end of the session now. One of my last main movements. This is the rotational row I told you about, 30, 40, 50. See how my forearm is when we start? I like this for a few reasons. One, it's important to have a single arm movement in your plan. I think unilateral work, arms, legs, whatever, shoulders, having individual limb work is very good for ironing out deficiencies. Everyone's going to have an asymmetry, it's just natural. But if you can mitigate them, the difference between the strong and weak side, it means performance perspective-wise, just for mobility and longevity, there's less chance of risk of injury, etc., blah, blah, blah. So with the row, same arm, same leg. I want to drive through that leg into that working side. Grip whatever you need to give you support, okay? Make sure it's big and thick, so certain things are out of the equation. Let it pull you into a stretch. I just find that psychologically, having that stretch position lets me transition through into a shorten point. Stretch, contract. I'm gonna go anywhere from 10 to 15. I'm gonna lock the arm in, and when you notice me watching me miss this end range of motion here, I will carry on with a shortened position, just to fully maximize the fatigue we can get out of that muscle. So, set up. First hand goes on. Ooh, that's sore. Second hand goes on. And from there, nice and tight. Whoa. 11 clean ones. I've got to stress, probably isn't the smartest doing this with like a slightly damaged elbow, but I sort of know what my limits are. It can take it. It's not over the edge just yet. I'm just giving a bit more of a push. Now it's time to match it. As the weeks progress and hopefully my arm becomes fully recovered, you'll see me push nearer and nearer to absolute failure. I reckon there was an RAR of 2, repetition in reserve, maybe. I'm pretty tired at this point. So, take a bit of weight off, and we go again. Right, let's finish off with the final big set. Grip set, foot set. Lift off with 2, transition to 1. It's only a bit of pain. If it was my mum, she'd be telling me, careful, you're gonna lose your arm, you have to go in A&E. It's just pain, subjective. It's in the mind, literally it's in the mind. It's just part of your body, for whatever reason, through range, fatigue, recovery, whatever damage, trauma, has reached a point where it's asking you to stay back a little bit from the edge so it can catch its breath and recover. It does this by sending a signal from the brain to the limb or to the area in question. Maybe there's a bit of inflammation as well. These are called cytokines. The nerves that send from the brain to the limb, called efferent. All of it is part of the body's way of mitigating long-term damage. How much you listen to it and how you navigate that process is entirely up to you. I'm choosing to push through this bit because it's nowhere near as bad as it was 2 weeks ago. It's my last set, and I'm a little bit wrong in the head. Let's get it done. Okay, finish off a bit of accessory work. So now we come to the single arm lateral pull down, or single arm lat sweep, I should say. Again, I've experimented with a bar, with 2 ropes, with 1 rope, with handles. This setup is what works for me currently. The goal is to both focus on stretching the lat out through the lengthened portion and have enough space to turn my torso and come right down by my side to bring the arm in from abduction to adduction, which is the job of the lat, to go from out here to in here. one of the jobs. So we get a really shortened muscle and really lengthened. Take a small step back, lean into it, and the result is fucking hell. One down, one to go. There you go. Now for part two. The seated rear fly. Stay tuned. Here we are. Right, so now we've set up for a seated rear cable fly. I like to do them both together. Just find it helps me create more stability and more power. It would help if the weight was the same. I've also got the chair leaning forward slightly. I want to put myself in as efficient a plane with the movement as I can. The elbow dictates where the force is applied to your back. In this case, the rear delt sits on the back of the tricep and the shoulder head. Sort of in line now with where my elbow is and my shoulder is, feeding into the back of my scap. So I want to keep my elbows high, in line with this plane, and I try and think about just performing a brush stroke through custard. You'll notice ever so slightly as well, I dip into the move to really open the shoulders up, let them elevate a little bit and really round the back. Then I have a little bit of extension through the chest, bringing the arms out and let my arms almost contract. The triceps got two jobs. One is that, it's the extension we all know it for. But another job, God that's sore now, is to stabilize the shoulder. So if you think about contracting through the tricep and the shoulder, you just get a bit more bang for your buck. Right, so with this being the last set of the day, I'm gonna perform a bit of a drop set. Although, having said that, I'll be performing the set with one arm, then applying a second rope and applying it with two arms. So maybe it's called a jump set, I don't know. Anyway, let's fuck shit up. Oh, shit. Okay, there's the single arm. Now comes the fun bit. Take a second rope, attach, make sure they line up, slap a bit more weight on. In theory, it should move like butter. Now, as I'm going up and down, one thing I try and do is shift back into the lengthened position. And whether it's naturally or slightly conscious, I bring my hips forward to really try and contract the lats as much as I can. You don't want too much, because if you go too far forward and you end up standing up, you're just losing the plane trying to work through. If you just give it a few inches of movement, you'll be surprised how much more squeeze you can get out the bottom. I'm not even counting. What's that, 10? Right, some partials. Final time now, getting stuck into this rear fly malarkey. And then we'll go and finish with a little bit of arms. Same setup, lean forward, reach the arms out, create that plane and then just move around it. Nope.